welcome back to another video about a children's trading card game. It is time for another deck profile. It is going to be a Trickster deck, and if you've seen the thumbnail, you know exactly what to expect. But I just want to preface this video by saying I genuinely think this is the best deck in the game right now. I think, you know, I did a bunch of testing with it, and it just is really difficult to do anything about. It just continually moves toward its game plan, and the only real way you can do anything about it is if you have enough sustain and healing that you can kind of just deal with the burn. And you know, it has very little it has very little aggression beyond that burn. So if you can like deal with if you can just like tank out the burn, you're kind of fine. But like it's really difficult to disrupt the game plan at all. And a lot of the best decks in the format, like for example Wizard Control, they don't really like, you don't care that they're going to be wiping your board and stuff, because you're like, okay, well, I mean, I just called a level 0 2/2/1, it did its thing, like it did the damage it needed to do. That's it. All you really need to be able to do is deal with defensive zone units, and that's it. And you know, you can include cards that will specifically deal with defensive zone units if you want. There is the space for that. Like you can take some things out, but that was essentially the preface. Like, this deck is really, really, really good, and it's insanely cheap. It's like $40 if that. You play 4 superior rares and 2 legends, and I genuinely don't think there's anything high rare. Oh, and a couple of 3-stars. That's it. that's literally it. So yeah, and honestly, the 3-stars aren't even essential. But this deck is super strong. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with the burn cards, and then I'll go into sort of the more flex slots. So first, 1 copy of Volatile Space Mimic. So this card like is totally, you don't need to play this. However, you know, sometimes your opponent's just going to pop it because, you know, they're not going to know. Like, as long as they haven't seen this is insane, and then they're just going to like actually want to be on suicide watch. Also, sometimes there are like mandatory effects to pop, and this is the only card on your field, like they just have to deal with it. And like, yeah, you can just get a free burn 2 out of it, which is obviously insane. So I only play 1 because it's not super good most of the time, but you know, sometimes it's going to go off. Our first legend, and actually I'll get both the legends out. I think this is the only combination you can play. It needs to be these 2. You can pitch this. You can pitch this from your hand. I'm just gonna put these here. So you can pitch this from your hand to burn 2 to the opponent, and it's also a 5/5/3 that can remove the center. So this is valuable for those reasons. This is a forced reveal that deals 2 to your opponent and deals 2 to you. You have 14 life. You don't care. There is very little to care about that sort of thing in this deck, and you know, it's just big stats, like nice, reasonably big stats, and it's dealing damage. So that's all you really care about, and like it's super nice. And also, like, it's also removal. Like, it's, if you counter check it, it deals 5 damage. That's probably going to kill whatever they've got on defensive, or it can, you know, deal some board wiping. You know, it's a good card. It's a good counter, made for this deck, absolutely. Then the other burn cards, I think, are, you know, fairly self-explanatory. It's triple photon torpedo, like obviously, quadruple blaster cannon, and quadruple space Ifrit. So drawing this card feels awful. You never want to draw it. You only want to counter check it. Sometimes it's decent to counter check, but it feels really bad most of the time. These guys are fine to draw because you can pitch them with the Trickster effect, and you can't do that obviously with this because it's a forced reveal. But like, if you see these, you can pitch them with Trickster to get the burn, but this you just really don't want to draw. It feels terrible. Like, it's not something you, like, it's good stats, like, don't get me wrong, it's 6/5/3, so it's hardly the worst thing to draw, but you'd rather not. You would rather see it as a counter. So yeah, that's and then that's all of the counters. And then the other burn cards are 4 Duchess and 4 Bullseye Wolf. So these are all the cards that burn. So if you count them up, that's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 21 cards that will basically always burn, and then maybe this 22nd one. So, you know, about half the deck is burning, and like about half of those are doing it on counter, more than half of those. So you can imagine that basically most of the time you see a counter, it's doing a burn, and it's really pissing the opponent off. But you know, that sort of stuff out of the way, That's going to be the core of every Trickster burn deck. That is not changing. The stuff that is more flexible is the additional things. So let's go ahead and talk about those. I'll start with my Atlas cards. So I'm playing double Normandy. This is fine. Like, it's nice to heal out like a Bullseye Wolf, or to heal out one of these, which will basically make this cost 1. It's a heal. It's giving you something. It's letting you do more things. This is like nice. This feels good to play. Sometimes you really just do want to play this so you can play more events in a turn. Or you can set up, for example, one of these on the opponent's turn. As the Cheshire Cat, this is like an absolute staple. And like you need to have this, otherwise like you are a little bit too fragile. This just gives you that, you only need 1 in a game, and it's just gonna let you tank that ruler attack that like you would that otherwise would kill you, and like yeah, it's all you need. So those are sort of my Atlas flex slots. I did choose to go down a little bit of a more military theme, but you don't need to. But it works quite well. You're already playing some military cards, so yeah. And then on the Wonderverse side, 4 of one of the best cards in the game that no one thought was one of the best cards, and I felt like a crazy person, but yep, this card is absolutely godly. I'm telling you, dude, like, okay, so you counter check it to draw a card, fine. You pitch it to draw a card if you want to filter it, fine. The value is you play it, you are discarding 2 to 3 counters most of the time. Sometimes you'll hit 1 or 0, feels bad, but like whatever, honestly, like genuinely whatever. Like you only need to get this off and remove like 2 or 3 counters, and then you're happy. Like I'm telling you, you're happy. You've removed a significant number of counters from the opponent's deck. You're doing so much burn. Yeah, this is all you need, and then it's also a filter counter. You could replace this with something else. I don't know what you would though. Like I don't know why you'd want to. I'm telling you, this card is an MVP. Then we've got Triple Crystal, just top check. Whoa, my god. And set. I'm really bad with this tripod. And set additional stuff. Like, this is just a nice card here. We got triple Well of Id. I really like Well of Id, mainly because it's just like a way for you to potentially see more counters. You don't really DR much in this deck, which is one of the biggest advantages of Trickster is all that life. So there is definitely room in set 4 to upgrade this deck with lots of cards that DR. But none of them really fit in at the moment, I don't think. So this is going to get even more valuable as we get more cards that DR. But even right now, it just, you remove 2 and you take 2 damage. You're probably going to heal 1 like a lot of the time. And even when you don't, like, it's fine. It's just filter. It's just getting through your deck. So you are going to dig to see those counters. You have so many ways of just burning through your deck that you are going to see more counters than anyone else, any other ruler. And then to round out, you're playing Quad Tractor Beam. This is going to fetch back your Untapper, it's going to fetch back your Bullseye Wolf, and it's going to fetch back your Space Ure. This is obviously take a damage, heal a damage, but obviously a lot of the time you are just going to be healing the damage when you first take it, so it can just be a net heal 1. It's a forced reveal, you have cards that draw during your opponent's turn, so you can get it during your opponent's turn during their attack phase, which is obviously really nice, and if you open it at the start of the game, it's really, really annoying to deal with. Just a great card, nice little package there to round out the deck. So yeah, once again, overall thoughts on the deck, it is insanely strong. Like, if you don't know how good this deck is, I really, really advise trying it out. It is so good. I was playing it for like 4 or 5 hours yesterday, and I played against basically every top meta contender. Right, I played against Yellow Blue Wizard. I played against Darkness Overlord. I played against Berserker. I played against Alice. I played against like all this stuff, like literally everything. And the only deck that was even remotely able to take games off this was Berserker and Supernatural Dreadnought, and that was just because they had the aggression to actually deal with Trickster, and even then, like, it was also an element of me getting unlucky and them getting lucky. So I definitely think that this deck is insanely strong. I don't see people talking about it. Like, people were like, oh, okay, we've solved the meta, it's Yellow Blue Wizard. It's really not. I'm telling you, like, Yellow Blue Wizard is not going to have a, it might be a 2-deck format, but in that 2-deck format, I'm choosing this every time. Like, it's not even close. It's also way more fun to play. Like, I do not enjoy playing Yellow Blue Wizard. But yeah, anyway, super fun deck. Highly recommend you give it a go. Don't play it too much because it will start pissing people off, but it's nice to have. And again, it's dirt cheap, and essentially makes this SR the MVP of the set. But there we go, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on this deck, any changes I should make, what your experience with it is, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.